kickstart his qualifying session. So we're back then with the Tier 1 guys. There's the Tier 1 champion, just been crowned Tier 2 champion on the Motive channel. If you didn't see this earlier, is this man Little Each. Wasn't the race that he'd have been expecting, but nonetheless took the championship with an absolute beautiful season for him. We're also joined by Gary 131, who's been promoted as well to Tier 1, so expect to see these guys on the grid the remainder of this season. Then we currently have Andy and DJ Phil sat in the pits as we go through the rest of the grid. Here's Superfast Joe as well, jumping up from Tier 1 to Tier 2 to have another race. Here's De Huis Rocker, sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Here's BT Targa, Melted Dazza, then Fury, Smoky Devil, Nathan Rutter, Shoulders, Emo Guy when the cameraman wants to pick him up. They're not picking him up at Parabolica brilliantly. There's Emo Guy running wide. Motoring Morgan going down the back straight, and as we know, the only G. So G then currently slowing down in towards Parabolica to try and get a better lap in, better exit through Parabolica, create himself maybe a bit of a gap to see if he can create some distance between the two. So let's see what we can do here then. On board with G. Let's jump in the cockpit view with G for a lap of this Monza short then. Very smooth on the way. We see a 102 from him. Obviously not the pace he'd have wanted. So comes through turn 1 in towards turn 2 then. Coming round onto the back straight, but runs a bit wider than he'd have probably liked there. Comes down the back straight now. He's heading up towards the Parabolica then. Into the Parabolica and try not to run too far wide. Nicely done from G. Keep it wide here and down the start straight you go. Flat out then out of Parabolica. Flat out down the straight until you get to turn 1. And what lap time is this going to be? It's been a good lap here from G so far, nice and clean with a bit of toe down the back straight, and crosses the line and puts it where you'd expect G to be, currently on the pole, 700ths ahead of Nathan Rutter. But is he going to improve this time round as he comes down the start line now? And no improvement for Nathan Rutter. Gary 131 though has just gone into pole position by 400ths of a second from G. Had a lovely toe from a few guys there and has put it on pole at the moment. Shoulders is currently running. Can he pick up any places here? Can he pick up any slots on the grid ready for race 1, the sprint race here? Crosses the line now and no improvement. Smoky Devil, he didn't improve. Neither Fury currently sat in the pits. In fact, he's just exiting now. Emo Guy currently sat 13th. Nick the Villa rounds the Parabolica then, and he's going to be flat out coming down towards the start-finish straight. So let's see if he can gain any more time as he comes across the line there. Goes P13 ahead of Emo Guy, who's just coming. In fact, he's in the pits. Andy's still in the pits as well, and DJ Phil Green yet to set a lap time. But Gary currently on the pole, the only GEC in the pit lane then, 500ths ahead of Shoulders. He doesn't improve that time round. Shoulders is in the pits. Motoring Morgan's coming down the back straight. Nathan Rutter, P5, is De Huis Rocker. Again, sorry if I have murdered that pronunciation. He's going to come out the final corner and down the start straight he goes. Over the line, he's going to cross now. No improvement for him. Shoulders, you see the red bit on his number is actually picked up, I think, a 2-place grid penalty. Let's just take a quick look. Yeah, he's got a 2-place grid penalty for a pit lane violation, so probably for speeding in the pit lane. So unfortunately for him, he's going to drop down to P4, promoting Motoring Morgan and the only G, who stopped on pit exit to let the guys who's on a lap come through. Possibly got in Gary's way a little bit there, but either way, DJ Phil set a time and has gone P14 as he's coming through the Parabolica when the cameraman picks him up. There he is, coming through the Parabolica with his lights on. Let's see if DJ Phil can do anything to gain a couple more attempts and move up a few more places. Across the line, he's giving P6 a good little toe down the straight. No improvement for DJ Phil and no improvement elsewhere for any others. Your tier 2 champion, no improvement for him. He's still 7/10 off the best time. Top 10 separated by 0.8 of a second, so a shout out there. That's fantastic. We see Andy now on track. There is the yellow car of him. He came out the pits just a moment ago, so we'll see what Andy can do. He's on his out lap now then. Where's Gary? Just crossed the line. No improvement for him. Shoulders, he's on a lap time. Where's G? G's just started a lap, so let's see if G can do anything about Gary's quickest time then. That's someone off just in front of G there. Clearly missed their braking point. In fact, G doesn't look like he's going to improve this time around, as he's just let 2 guys through. That's Nathan Rutter on track with not quite sure who that is in front. Not seeing many times improved here. So let's jump on board Andy. Let's see what Andy can do. Let's go inside the cockpit view and see if Andy's going to give Gary a challenge for the provisional pole time at the moment. Well, he's not, by losing the rear that much and going off at turn 1 into the wall. We'll stay on board with him for the rest of the lap round. That little left-hand kink. Brake hard into the right-hand bend, and he's wide again there and into the wall on the outside. So not the cleanest of laps here for Andy, and in fact he's probably backed out of it to let the guys behind through. We see Superfast Joe's just coming into the pit lane as Gary's coming round, turn to the back straight. Shoulders is in this little battle by Andy. There is Shoulders just in front of him coming into the Parabolica, so we'll see what he can do here then. Crosses the line and there's no improvement there. What about Motoring Morgan? He's coming down the back straight. Where's G? G's coming out the Parabolica now. We've seen him go a bit slow earlier. Is this now his better time? Is he only needs to find just over 1/10 to be on the front row of the grid. He is in 4th place at the moment. He's giving Nathan Rutter a heck of a slipstream down the start straight. No improvement for him and no improvement for Nathan Rutter as well. Getting a heck of a toe is Nathan Rutter, and he will continue to get that toe down the back straight as well here. Here's BT Trager. Let's see what he can do. He's behind Andy at the moment. Andy's still not set a lap time, as there is only 25 seconds, so Andy has only had 1 shot at the dice here. So let's see what he can do. Comes down the start line. BT Trager's getting one hell of a toe as he comes down the start line here. And over the line, no improvement for him, but Andy has gone into P9, 7/10 off pole position. His qualifying has finished now, so all the way down to Emo Guy in P12 is up for pole, is only 8/10 off. Gary couldn't improve on his final run. Shoulders is on a final lap. Motoring Morgan G has just gone pole on his last attempt. He's took Nathan Rutter with him, but Nathan Rutter only stays 5th. Motoring Morgan's in the pit lane, so Gary loses out then by 1/10 of a second at the final hurdle to only G. BT Trager coming round Parabolica, 2 cars behind him. Let's see what he can do. One of them, I do believe, is Shoulders, who has a 2-place grid penalty, and now he's down in P3. He'll promote Motoring Morgan and Nathan Rutter. Can BT Trager get himself any closer here? No, he can't. Melted Dazza, though, does BT Trager into P6. De Huis Rocker, he's done for his lap. So's Emo Guy, so's Fury. I think we're about done for qualifying here. Yeah, I think that's everybody done. So the qualifying session is over. And for the sprint race tonight, then, it will be only G who, at the very last part of the qualifying session, takes the pole from Gary 131. Shoulders gets third place, but has a 2-place grid penalty. Motoring Morgan in 4th. Nathan Rutter 5th. Melted Dazza 6th. BT Trager 7th. De Huis Rocker in 8th. 9th for Andy, 10th for Little Leach, your Tier 2 champion. Superfast Joe got 11th. Bearing in mind the top 10 are within 9/10 of each other, so a heck of a lap for them. It is wet, so we'll see what the guys' tyre choices will be. And we'll see if these lads can get off the line well and push them till the end. Been an interesting session so far. So we'll see what the guys, the only G taking it right at the end there on the very last lap. So let's see what he can do. So we just await the drivers to ready up, sort their last tyre selections out, maybe a bit of fuel. Do you go a bit lighter? Do you run a bit heavier? So we'll wait and see what these guys choose here. So it looks like we're finally ready here then for the first race of the night. The revs rise here and it looks like we're about to get underway. It's green at Monza short, and a heck of a start from Gary Leach, who's up the inside of Only G, already into turn 1. Heck of a start from him off the line, and he's already in front of G as it's a short run down and they break into it. G a bit wider than Gary. Does he look for a cutback to get towards the back straight? Gary keeping that tighter line through the left hand bend and into the right hander. He looks like he's got the job done at the minute. So coming down the back straight, it's Gary from the Only G. Motoring Morgan 3rd, Nathan Rutter's in 4th. Little Leach has got himself up into 5th from 9th on the grid. So a heck of a start from Little Leach there then. What a fantastic first lap, first couple of corners for him. De Huis Rocker is up to 6th. BT Trager's 7th. Melted Daz is in 8th. And who's that off in the background? That's 2 cars. And I do believe that is Andy who is off. He's one of the cars with shoulders. Had a bit of a coming together there halfway down the straight. And they're both off in the thunderstorm here at Monza short. Not the opening race these guys would have wanted. Not the opening lap, should I say, these guys would have wanted. Gary, though, into the pit lane. Why is Gary in the pits? I'm not quite sure. Did he jump the start? I think he has done. We'll see if he has a drive-through penalty. Motoring Morgan now has taken the lead. Only G's just got back past him. We'll jump on board that battle in a moment. But yes, Gary, 131, has had a drive-through penalty for a jump start. So we've seen him get away really well. Well, that'll be why then he jumped it from the word go. Not the way he'd have wanted to start his Tier 1 race here. Jumps up to Tier 1 from Tier 2 for next season. And I'm sure he'll want to challenge G all the way, but that's not the way he'll want to do it. So G then leads from Motoring Morgan. Nathan Rutter still just behind these two. Don't forget, nothing to play for here, so it's all elbows out from these guys. G's already wrapped up this title. You get a heck of a tow down the straights here, so Motoring Morgan won't mind this. And is that G pulling into the pit lane? He nearly drove into the pit wall there. It looked like he was going into the pits coming out to Parabolica and nearly drove into the pit wall at the end. Motoring Morgan has inherited the lead and tries to cut across G there, but can't get it done. G slots in behind now, and he's all out of shape coming through turn 1, but catches the rear of the car. Now then, Nathan Rutter, he's going to look to keep the car around the outside of this left-hand bend. Can't get it done. Does he think Sutty's sending one? No, he doesn't. Little Each has got himself up into P4, just off the back of the front 3 then. So a good little run here for Little Each. Gary's already got back through. Gary's came out ahead of Andy after his spin on lap 1. G though, side by side with Motoring Morgan, looks like he's got the move done thanks to the slipstream as they head down towards Parabolica for the 3rd time here. 17 minutes remain, and it's only G who leads from Motoring Morgan. Nathan Rutter, Little Each, your top 4. Little Each kind of in no man's land at the minute, quite a way in front, but also quite a fair way off the back of this pack. Motoring Morgan has the move done on the exit to Parabolica, and he's side by side with G. And if Nathan Rutter's got anything to say about it, he's going to try and take full advantage of these two side by side, really close to this pit wall here, and they have to come back across to the right. G right in front of Nathan Rutter there to get it turned in, and Motoring Morgan is widening into the wall, and that's not what he wanted there as Little Each has gone through. So does De Huis Rocker and BT Trager. Motoring Morgan gets going ahead with Melted Dazzer, who's P7. Smoky Devil on the back of him for P8. Nick the Villa's in P9, just ahead of Fury then. See there down the back straight, DJ Phil, he's got himself up into 11th place. You see him coming onto the back straight as well. Emo Guy trying to hunt him down. Here's Shoulders coming through the first little complex there. Had that first lap incident with Andy. Shoulders has Gary hunting him down. There you see Andy all out shape coming onto the back straight there. Super Fast Joe must have had a problem as he's dropped to last. You see he's only got the one headlight, so maybe a problem for him then. But back to the front, the Only G leads by 0.2 of a second from Nathan Rutter. Can he keep in that slipstream to keep behind the Only G and maybe force a move down the back straight? Although every time he lets G lead into a corner and doesn't challenge him, G's just going to start to gradually pull a bit more time in front of Nathan Rutter then. Needs to really stay on it and really be all guns blazing down this back straight. Really has to try and focus on passing G here. Something he's got to do. And he's not pressuring him enough. In fact, he's dropped a lot of time back. Motoring Morgan's worked his way back up into P4. Look at this little battle between BT Trager and... in fact, he's round. De Huis Rocker has spun at Parabolica. The cameraman cannot pick him up if he's there, look. Who else is that? That's someone else round as well. Is that Fury? No, Fury's up to 8th. I think Nick the Villa was round as well. He's got back going. Yeah, Nick the Villa was round. Emo Guy's going to pass him, who's got past DJ Phil. Can DJ Phil pass Nick the Villa? They head down towards turn 1. It does look like DJ Phil has got past then Nick the Villa, who span coming into Parabolica. So we saw him and De Huis Rocker spin. Who's that? Who's now had a moment? That's BT Trager who's had a moment. He's been hit by Emo Guy, I do believe. Yeah, that's got DJ Phil and Nick the Villa back past Emo Guy. DJ Phil now up into P9. Gary's gaining on the back of Shoulders. Superfast Joe's gaining on the back of Andy. So Andy's struggling in the wet conditions. Motoring Morgan has just passed Little Each for 3rd place. Can Little Each keep it round the outside? You don't want to be too tight on the inside of Parabolica. There is puddles that form around there. Now can Little Each tuck in to Motoring Morgan and get the slipstream down to turn 1? We see Motoring Morgan very quick here and was battling G early on before he made the mistake and ran too wide at turn 1. But then fantastic battles up and down the grid here, a full 16 car grid, so good to see that from these boys. And Motoring Morgan is now into 2nd place. What's happened to Nathan Rutter? He's dropped well back. He's dropped behind Motoring Morgan and Little Each. We didn't see what had happened to him. He's got Smoky Devil on the back. Fury's up into P6, so a good first couple of laps here for Fury as we're on lap 7 now. 13 minutes still remain of this sprint race. De Huis Rocker, the spin at Parabolica. He's got Melted Dazzer all over the back of him. You see there Fury out of shape coming onto the back straight there. There is DJ Phil. That's BT Trager, who's going to go side by side with DJ Phil down the back straight. In fact, he's squeezing Phil, and he's now got in front. Nick de Villa is also side by side with DJ Phil then. Look behind is Emo Guy, Shoulders and Gary all coming together here. This is going to form one big train in a minute. Nick de Villa and BT Traga got the run on DJ Phil and have both got through but run wide. And does this allow DJ Phil back up the inside? Not at the moment. Nick de Villa is going to go up the inside of BT Traga here though. They're going to be side by side on the exit to Parabolica, and DJ Phil looks like he might want to get involved in this and try and make it 3 wide. We saw in tier 2, 3 wide, doesn't work into turn 1. Nick de Villa's got the move done, but look at DJ Phil. He's looking up the inside of both of them. Gets on the brakes, gets it turned in. Bit of a touch with Nick de Villa. Nick de Villa squeezing DJ Phil to the wall, and I tell you what, that came close, but DJ Phil got the move done on BT Traga. Gary, we saw, has passed Emo Guy. DJ Phil ran a bit wide then, coming onto the back straight. Just in front of them, you've got Fury defending from Melted Dazzler, but trying to attack De Huis Rocker. He's up the inside as they're heading towards the Parabolica then. That looks like moved on. What about Melted Dazzler? He got closed off early then. Nick de Villa currently 9th from BT Traga. Emo Guy 11th, Gary 12th, and DJ Phil 13th. But look at how wide Nick de Villa is. That's going to allow BT Traga up the inside, and look who's going to benefit from all of this. Gary's going to take 3 places through one corner. He's up the inside of Emo Guy, who's got the run on these two. They're 3 abreast coming down the start-finish straight. BT Traga just slowly dropping off the back of these two, but it's Gary and Emo Guy side by side as they head down into turn 1 now then. Emo Guy's come across Gary and then span down the start straight into turn 1. How has he managed to keep that going? A full pirouette, a full 360, manages to get it pointed in the right direction, and away he goes, and he's only lost a place to BT Traga after all that, but he cut across the front to Gary 131 there and just got tapped around. Whether that was Emo Guy's fault or Gary, I'm not quite sure. DJ Phil defending heavy there from Nick de Villa, you see in the background. DJ Phil doesn't look like he gets the best of runs here coming onto the back straight, but Gary now, after his drive-through penalties, back up into P9 and will want to be on the pace with the guys in front. That is Nick de Villa very wide and should allow DJ Phil back up the inside. Yes, it does, but look at the run they've both got. They should both be side by side down the start-finish straight. This will be interesting into turn 1 as well. Fury's dropped to 9th place, so Gary's got past him. He's in the little battle in front, but DJ Phil looks like he's going to have the move done, provided he makes no mistakes at turn 1 then and doesn't get it stopped in. Does Nick de Villa try and squeeze him this time? No, he's a bit too far back to squeeze him here. Back out front though, Motoring Morgan has got up to the Only G, and in fact has passed the Only G, so a heck of a run this from Motoring Morgan. He's taking Little Each with him as well. Shows you what the slipstream can do in these Clios. You can sort of work with each other and take each other together. But Only G got the cut back at Parabolica and is looking up the inside of Motoring Morgan down the start-finish straight. Little Each is not out of this little battle here, by no means necessary. 10 minutes remain then in this first race. And as we see, Little Each trying to keep up with these two. G's going to go up the inside of Motoring Morgan. Does Little Each try and make the way through as well? No, can't get it done. Motoring Morgan will tuck back up the inside. Smoky Devil being caught by De Huis Rocker. He's being followed by Melted Dazzler. Gary though still cannot shake off the back of Fury, and look at this between Emo Guy and BT Traga. Emo Guy just taps Fury there, but nothing comes of it. In fact, Fury runs wide at turn 1, and here comes Emo Guy trying to pass Fury. If he can keep it round the outside, he'll be inside onto the back straight. Looks like he's done that absolutely beautifully. And can BT Traga follow through? They're still side by side, or Emo Guy and Fury, and Emo Guy looks like he's got the move done now. Where is BT Traga? He's going to try and follow through surely. In fact, no, he's actually lost out to Nick de Villa then in the background. There is Nick de Villa ahead of BT Traga, so obviously couldn't get the run out the final corner, not the corner before the back straight, sorry. Now we're into the final corner of Parabolica, and Fury all over the back of Emo Guy. Wants to place back after he made a mistake. This is allowing Gary to just stretch his legs in front of this pack here and pull away, try and maybe catch up to the back of Melted Dazzler. Done well to come from the back of the grid with a drive-through penalty to make his way back up to 8th, and Fury looks like he's going to get the move done. In fact, turns in, but Emo Guy's on the inside and he turns into the corner. Emo Guy's there. Nick de Villa and BT Traga in behind these having a little scrap as well. Fantastic battles in this first race. Absolutely great battles. And who is that off? Who's had a spin there? That's Smoky Devil, who's had a moment. It promoted all of these guys up a couple more places. And DeHuis Rocker's gone a bit slow, as Gary wasn't near Smoky Devil or DeHuis Rocker, but he's now running P6. Back to Nick the Villa behind. Look at this with Emo Guy and Fury. Side by side with Fury into Parabolica for the 12th time for these guys. That's that's BT Trago, who's ran very wide at Parabolica. Emo Guy just in front of these two. Nick the Villa slots in behind Fury then. Cannot get the move done. Fantastic racing at the moment here between this mid-pack. 4 or 5 cars in this little battle. It will not end. Shoulders is gaining on the back of Smoky Devil. Andy's not made the progress since his first lap spin that we thought we'd see. And your Tier 1 champion still leads, is still holding off Motoring Morgan and Little Each, the Tier 2 champions. The Tier 2 champion on pace with the front runners here in Tier 1. Is that what we're going to see next season as he's made his promotion? The rain looks like it's stopping. Little Each ran in these conditions earlier, so we'll have an uprand after running in these conditions a little while earlier. So let's see what he can make of it then. Motoring Morgan's going to try and pressure the only G. In fact, look at the run Motoring Morgan has down the start straight. G will have the inside line, but Morgan will try and cover him off. Can't there, as G still got his nose up the inside. Motoring Morgan looks for the cutback, but can't get it done. If he can keep it round the outside now with G, he'll have the inside line for the next corner, but can't, I don't think. Little Each is really interested in this battle as well. One mistake from these guys, and anybody could take the race win here. Who's that in the pits? That is DeHuis Rocker is in the pits. Now, is he coming in for slick tyres here with the track dry? And I think he's picked himself up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane maybe. Now back then to Gary, who is gaining on Melter Dazza. This for P5. I tell you what, if Gary can gain up towards the front lot for a podium, that'll be a fantastic race for him. Still the battle in the background continues between Emo Guy, Fury, Nick the Villa and BT Traga then. So still 4 cars here. Gary's going to try and make a move up the inside of Emo Guy, but we're currently watching this battle as Nick the Villa tries to make it 3 wide between him, Emo Guy and Fury, but can't. They all sort of tuck back in single file then. And we see everybody. BT Traga looks like he's got the undercut on Nick the Villa. What a move that is from BT Traga. Tried to get it on Fury. In fact, look at the run BT Traga's got here. He's trying to come up the inside of Nick the Villa, but can't. Nick the Villa and Emo Guy. Nick the Villa, Fury and BT Traga look 3 wide. Look at this. Emo Guy is just sat in front of this little battle. They're now going to possibly go 3 wide, if not 4, into turn 1. And they all do it sensibly there. Through turn 1 they go. And somehow Nick the Villa has kept 8th place here. Emo Guy's kept 7th. Fury's in 9th. And BT Traga's in 11th place. And Motoring Morgan leads out front. We've not seen how that's happened, as we can't take our eyes off the battle at the midfield. But the only G's going to try and get the run here and come back at them. Little Each has just dropped off the back of these two ever so slightly. And G nearly hits the pit wall for a second time this race. Unbelievable scenes there. But Motoring Morgan now has a bit of a gap, a 10th to G, and looks to defend his line going in this through the first section. G looks like he's got his nose up the inside, round the outside for the little left-hand curve. No, he doesn't there. In fact, he's tapped and spanned Motoring Morgan. Motoring Morgan hangs on to it, and G respectfully lets Motoring Morgan keep the place there then at the moment. But Little Each now leads in this Tier 1 race. It's all happening at the front with 4.5 minutes to go. Fantastic racing here. Back to Gary, who's still trying to who's now got past Melter Dazza and is trying to defend from him. Maybe gain on Nathan Rutter then. At the back a bit more. Nick the Villa's dropped to 10th and has dropped off this battle that is now a trio between Emo Guy, Fury and BT Traga. DJ Phil and Andy gaining on the back of Shoulders then. Look at who's that? That's BT Traga trying to pull out on Fury. Maybe look up the inside at Parabolica, but can't get it done there then. Bit out front for the lead. They're 3 wide going into turn 1. G around the outside of both Little Each and Motoring Morgan. What a move from G. There's still 3 abreast here coming in through turn 2, and now going into the right hand onto the back straight. Little Each back up the inside of G, is it? This side by side, G side by side with Motoring Morgan. Look at this for a scrap. Little Each is up the inside of G. This is not allowing Nathan Rutter to catch with ease by any stretch of the imagination. But look at this, 3 for the lead here. DeHuis, 16th is in the pits. And Little Each up the inside of Motoring Morgan at the parabolic, and then G's going to try and go around the outside. Can Little Each keep it tucked underneath? Motoring Morgan started to get the run. Little Each tucks behind to get the slipstream down towards turn 1. G then pulls out. He's going to look up the inside of Little Each. In fact, he's got the nose there now, so will be on the inside line for turn 1 here. This is absolutely fantastic racing between these guys, and G is going to have Little Each into turn 1 then. And Motoring Morgan keeps the lead, but now G thinks about keeping it around the outside. He tried the opposite way last time round and it didn't work. Can Little Each, should he send one up for second place? No, he can't. And we're on board Motoring Morgan then, who's now having to defend heavily from the only G, who looks to try and get a run down the back straight and pull out. Maybe at parabolic he'll think about it, but don't discount Little Each here. He's still running a good P3. This is 3 for the lead. Fantastic Clio Cup racing, and this is only the sprint race, so a good start to the evening for the Tier 1 guys. Little Each already the Tier 2 champion, G already the Tier 1 champion, and G's up the inside of Motoring Morgan through Parabolica and down the start finish straight. There you go. Little Each will be wanting to tuck into the slipstream and maybe follow G on the inside, but he can't at the moment. Touching, rubbing side by side is Morgan and G all the way down the start straight. They come here. Absolutely fantastic racing, and G makes the move up the inside of Motoring Morgan, and Little Each still tucked in for third place. Let's just check on Gary and Meltadaza. Gary still defending heavily from Meltadaza for P5. Fury is in front of Emo Guy, and BT Chaga has a bit of breathing space to them two in the background though. They're still fighting here. Smoky Devil trying to defend from Andy, who's got past him up the inside of Parabolica. DJ Phil as well in the background trying to keep with Smoky Devil here. Andy now through and up to 16th place. We've lost Dehuza Rocker. He's laps down here, currently running 16th, but here we go back with the leaders as we've got 1.5 minutes remaining. The only G, Motoring Morgan. Little Each must have made a mistake on that last lap as he's dropped off the back of these two a bit here. So is he just going to happily sit and take a P3 on Tier 1? Don't forget, no points for Little Each, Gary and Smoky Superfast Joe, as they have come from the Tier 2. And Motoring Morgan, Sutty sends one up the inside into Tier 1. Fantastic from him, and now leads again here. Little Each gaining on the back of these couple for the race win. G though looks to make a move. Look at the amount of back markers that they're coming up on. DJ Phil has just passed Smoky Devil up front. At the bottom of your screen you saw there. What fantastic Clio Cup racing we're seeing here. G's going to look back up the inside. Little Each trying to stay with these two in the slipstream. In fact, G's got to move on and force Motoring Morgan. I thought he was going to force him onto the grass. Didn't they? Gave him a car's width and the respect. But I tell you what, these two have a touch and Little Each is in. They're going to cross the line to probably get one last lap in then as they come down the start finish straight now. Motoring Morgan has the slipstream on the only G, and he's going to try and think of sending one into turn 1 again. Look at G trying to squeeze him there, letting him know he's side by side with him. Motoring Morgan going to send one up the inside at turn 1. Don't forget any contact between these two, and Little Each is right in there. G hanging back, trying to get the cut back, but Morgan has done very well to defend him there. Now then, can Morgan pull away any here? The slipstream for G should work. They come out onto the final back straight for the final time here in this sprint race, and what a sprint race it's been. Absolute fantastic scenes at the Monza short circuit. Motoring Morgan trying to defend. He goes left, he goes right. Bit of an Iceman weave there from him, and he breaks into Parabolica. G's got to be clever here. He's got to be wise. G's round and has lost the rear, and that's probably threw away a P2, if not a win. Motoring Morgan, I think G clipped the puddle, and Motoring Morgan's going to come home to take the race win here at the sprint race. A fantastic race for him, a flash of the lights. The Tier 2 champion of Little Each is going to take P2. Fantastic race for him. Nathan Rutters managed to get on the podium with the mistake from G at the end. He's going to come home. In fact, he's battling with Gary. In fact, I think Gary's going to take 5th. 4th, Gary has done Lonely G, and so does Meltadaza. So Gary takes P4, Meltadaza 5th, G home in 6th. Emo Guy defends off Fury. Great battle between them all race. BT Chaga couldn't keep up with them guys at the end, so a 9th place for him. Well done. Good battles from him. We saw a good battle from Nick the Villa as well. Shoulders after his first lap incident with Andy. He's going to take a P11. Maybe some inquiries from Andy and Shoulders. We didn't see what happened, but Shoulders 11th. Andy will take P12. Smoky Devil's going to get 13th ahead of DJ Phil. Superfast Joe will cross the line in 15th place. Fantastic racing. And Dehuza Rocker will take P16 and last. But what a race we saw there. Motoring Morgan with the win. The only G-span at Parabolica. And I tell you what, Little Leach and Nathan Rutter, Gary and Meltadaza also inherited from that. What could have been for Gary 131, don't forget, had a drive-through penalty earlier in the race. And that really possibly cost him a race win. But absolutely scenes there. And the Tier 2 champion gets on the podium with motor. So you can pit as from lap 10 of this 31 lap race. It's only a 50 odd second lap, so yeah. See, my Omo guy then will be the first guy to put in a representative lap here, and let's see how he does. Crosses the line now, and Emo guy goes pole currently with a 55.73. Nick the Villa's gone second, so he must have got an early lap time in. Superfast Joe's just gone into third place. Shoulders has currently taken the pole as he had a good slipstream there from BT Trager. De Huis Rock has gone into P2 then at the moment. See as well, De Huis Rock half a second up on his Delta so far. See what he can do. Andy's out on track, needs all the laps he can get. Only got one proper flying lap in Q1. He just starts his time now. There's DJ Phil, he's about to start his time as well, so let's see what he can do. Fury, he's coming through turn 1, he's just started his lap time. Yeah, 6 currently in the pits, and I'm sure that G can qualify in this race, but he's not yet come out of the pits. So let's see what happens, as De Huis Rocker has gone pole at the moment. So he was up on his Delta last lap, and he's currently half a second ahead of Shoulders. Where's Andy on track? He's coming through Parabolica, so let's see what Andy can do. Is his lap time going to be good enough for pole? No slipstream here. He's not giving a slipstream away, but he's not gaining one neither. We know these Clios can gain quite a bit of time with the slipstream, and he crosses the line, and he only goes third fastest at the moment. DJ Phil, he's about to cross the line as well. Let's see what lap time DJ Phil can get. Fury's gone into P9 at the minute, and DJ Phil crosses the line and goes P8 ahead of Smoky Devil and Fury. De Huis Rocker down on his time. Where's Shoulders? Coming down the start straight now, he has BT Trager just behind him. G commented he can qualify, but he'd rather start at the back. Let's make things interesting. So G can qualify then, but he's going to start at the back. De Huis Rocker has gone into the pits. Shoulders messes up turn 1. BT Trager now has a clear track in front of him. Andy's coming out the Parabolica again, so what will Andy do here? Any improvement for him? Needs just 7/10 of a second. We saw the top 10 last time were separated by 9/10 of a second. Currently the top 4 are separated by 7/10. Can Andy improve on his time? And gains not a lot through there. Fury though down the start finish straight, currently 6 seconds off the time, and pulls back 4.3 and goes in front of DJ Phil, but DJ Phil's going to finish his next lap. And what sort of time does he put in? No improvement. Superfast Joe out to Parabolica, and here we go. Can he improve? 1.4 down on his time. No improvement from him. Nick the Villa's coming through turn 1. Where's Emo guy? So is he. As the sky gets a bit darker and it just starts to turn to evening time here. We'll stay on board Emo guy, see what sort of lap he can do. For Emo guy, I'm sure he'll want a nice, good, solid position, a nice, good, solid finish as well. Rounds Parabolica. He had a good battle with BT Trager and Nick the Villa and Fury in that race. DJ Phil was involved in that battle for a bit as well. Down the start line he comes. As you see, he gets darker and he improves by 0.07 of a second, so he's currently 5th. Not a lot of time he gained there, and it will be, someone's just crossed the line, so Andy will be the next second to last one. I'm not sure who's just in front. It is De Huis Rocker, so let's see what De Huis Rocker can do. Can he improve? He's currently half seconds ahead of Shoulders and Andy. Does he improve this time around? No improvement there. He did go in the pits, so I wonder if he's just came out of the pits then, unless he's just started his next flying lap as Andy's going to cross the line, and no improvement from him. What about Fury then? Can Fury improve here? Currently P9, 1.7 off the pace, and crosses the line now. No improvement from him. Shoulders doesn't improve neither. DJ Phil, where's he on track? Coming down the start line now. There is a car stopped into turn 1. DJ Phil improves by 0.6 of a second. Who's that stopped? I think that's a bit of lag. Not quite sure. That's Smoky Devil, who's... I'm not sure if he's parked there or is he just lagged. Has he ran out of fuel? Smoky Devil's ran out of fuel. Why he's not pitted there, I'm not sure, but he's in the way of a few cars. So that's interesting to see. Now Dehuis Rocker comes round to finish his next lap time. There's 2.5 minutes just under remaining on the clock. You'd think Smoky Devil would have pitted there and put some more fuel in. No improvement for him. Shoulders in P2, has Fury on the outside of him. So will he get the slipstream or benefit from anything here? Down to the line they come side by side. We'll see what Shoulders does. We'll see if Fury jumps up the leaderboard. Shoulders needs 5 attempts, doesn't gain anything. Fury though does move ahead of Smoky Devil, who is out of fuel. That's in a very dangerous position, that, if you ask me. DJ Phil's about to cross the line and gains 5/500ths of a second, and still not enough to improve any. Emo Guy has stayed 5th. Superfast Joe and Dehuis Rocker are in the pit lane. Then where's Nick the Villa, just coming through the first part of the track. BT Trager as well. That's down by BT Trager, will be the next man to complete lap. I'm really surprised Smoky Devil hasn't put that in the pits. That is in the way at turn 1, you'd imagine. Oh, I've been kicked from the game. I'm not sure what's happened here, but it has kicked me from the game there. So we'll try and get back in as fast as possible. It's saying the session's no longer available, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Session's not available apparently. So I'm not quite sure what's happened here. Apologies about this, but it's kicked me from the game and it's not letting me back in here currently, so apologies for this one. Received an invite from Andy, so we'll try the latest invite and hopefully see if that gets us back in. Nice. A few problems here. Bear with us for a brief moment. We're just going to take a quick break here while we try and sort out what is happening to bring you the coverage. We'll be back in just 2 moments.